Joining us now is Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for NCBA, Colin Woodall. Colin, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you, Kevin.
You know, we're entering into a exciting season of presidential politics. What does that mean for you and your staff?
What it means is we need to make sure that we understand what these candidates have to say about agriculture, what their positions are, and more importantly, get that information out to our membership so they can make an informed decision as the primary process goes on throughout 2016. In fact, our Political Action Committee just passed a resolution at our annual convention in San Diego to make sure that we get that done and get that done as soon as possible.
Good. You know, we've talked a lot about the Trans-Pacific Partnership this last year. Give us an update.
Trans-Pacific Partnership is going to be the #1 topic for us, the #1 issue for us in 2016, because it's all about money. We need to be able to have access into Japan, and so far we've had really good access, but that access is coming at a cost, and that cost is a tariff or a tax of 38.5%. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, is going to take that down to 9% on most cuts of beef, and on cuts such as beef tongue, which we send a lot to Japan, it's going to go down to 0. So that means that we as U.S. producers are going to make more money. That's why we need to get this done as quickly as possible, because every day that we wait, we're losing that access to our competitors such as Australia.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, ranchers, that is, in my neck of the woods, have followed and been very involved in this Endangered Species Act. Let's talk a little bit about that.
When you look at what we were able to do in 2015 in keeping the sage grouse and the lesser prairie chicken off of that list, it gives us a little momentum to really look at more reform to the Endangered Species Act. You know, when Congress put this in place, we don't think they really knew what to do if we recovered a species. Now we've been able to show that through our own industry initiative, we can recover these species. We need to make sure we have a way to get them off the list. So we're going to spend a lot of 2016 trying to get that done.
One of my disappointments certainly has been what's happened with WOTUS, especially as of late with the presidential veto. What's the plan forward with that?
We were very disappointed in the presidential veto, but more than anything, it shows that he now owns this issue. And that's going to allow us, I think, to continue to get Congress more engaged. They have the opportunity to defund any enforcement of the Waters of the United States rule, which will be very helpful, because ultimately the courts are going to decide what happens with implementation of WOTUS. That could take us all the way to the Supreme Court, which could be 5, 6, maybe even 10 years away. In the meantime, we have to find some protection for our producers to keep EPA off their land. That's where this defunding comes in as such an important part of that whole strategy.
And one thing that we've not talked a lot about on the show is the Antiquities Act. Tell folks why they should be concerned and knowledgeable about that, its impact on cattle producers.
You know, the Antiquities Act had very noble beginnings. Teddy Roosevelt, when president, was pushing for the Antiquities Act. Basically, it was used for the president to go out and find historical sites in the United States and try to preserve them. We're all about trying to preserve our history as a society. Unfortunately, it has been abused, and President Obama has abused it by locking up millions of acres in national monuments just with one stroke of the pen, and Congress doesn't have any oversight. So we want to reform the Antiquities Act to make sure that it really is back on its original intent, that it's not used as a way to keep producers off the land, and also make sure that Congress can step in and stop the president if he abuses it.
Well, congratulations for all your accomplishments in 2015, and keep the pedal down, all right?
Will do. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. The cattle industry needs a strong voice in our nation's capital, and that takes all of us working together. It's easy to join NCBA. Just visit our website. That's beefusa.org, or you can call 1-866-USA-BEEF.